Today, I'm going to talk about full moon, shadow work, candle magic slash meditation. And before I jump into candle magic and talk about like meditation and candle magic, it's extremely important to realize what we're doing, like why we're doing this candle magic. And it is so important to do shadow work. And do you guys all know what shadow work is? I hope you do. Yes. I mean, if you got a reading from me, I'd probably point out your shadow. Like, okay, you got to work on this. You got to work on this. You got to forgive this. I tell that's my strength. I tell people what their shadow is and what they got to work on, so that they could remove the blockages. So we all have wings behind our back, and we have the energy to the wings, and that is causing a blockage. And because of that, we can't manifest things the way we want it, or we can't. You feel stuck, you feel lost, and you feel like you don't have any purpose in this world. It is because you have this shadow. So it is so important for us to realize what kind of shadow we have. However, it gets a little difficult because our brain tends to think the way we want to think, and we tend to ignore some things, or some when it's too difficult to deal with, we tend to delete it or just ignore it or shove it in. And that's why it's so difficult for us to find our own shadow. So that's what I did. I was just helping you to point out your shadow so that you could really see your own shadow and then remove it. Okay. And these shadow, or these negative energy that's in your energy field, it's not gonna disappear. Okay. It's not going to get deleted. I hope it's that easy, like, typing and then you make a mistake and you hit the delete button and it gets deleted. I wish that it's that easy, but it isn't. It's a process. It's a very long process, and it takes time. But you have to be really patient with yourself and never give up. That's the key. Never give up. Because the moment you give up, that's the end of it. You're not going to grow. Yeah, you stop growing. So shadow work is like, it's time consuming and it's really difficult, but I see it as something that's very exciting. Shadow, when people say shadow work or negative, blah, 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 we tend to kind of like um, fear that. Like, we don't want to deal with it. But I think it's a very exciting thing, because only when we overcome the shadow, like only when we heal the shadow, we could step up to the next level. And I'm talking about spiritual evolution. I'm not just like talking about like your career change, or you met someone nice, or you met your soulmate. I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about your soul evolving to the next level. And that is the spiritual evolution. That's how important it is, because you got to really take care of your shadow so that you could really go on to the next level. If you go to the next level, you will see the world differently. So shadow work is extremely important, especially because right now, the earth energy is changing. I wrote down on the email that, the earth energy is changing. And the earth energy is going through ascension. And some of you don't know what ascension is, and it's okay. It's like a spiritual term. So what's happening right now energetically is that the energy is shifting, it's changing. Okay. And right now we are in this three-dimensional energy, three-dimensional realm, which is all about materialistic stuff, um, money, fame, power, like separation, all that. Like, we're in a very low frequency energy, but as this whole universe, not only the earth, not only the humans, also the moon and the sun and Jupiter and Mars, and all that universal planetary energy is evolving to the higher frequency, which is so exciting because it hasn't been like this forever. So this is something that's completely new. We've never experienced this before. So we are in a very exciting moment right now. And it's happening. It's happening gradually. It's happening. So that's why a lot of people are becoming more spiritually aware, spiritually awakened. I've noticed that a lot of people send me an email saying, I went through my spiritual awakening moment on the year 2019 or 2020 or something like that. And that's pretty recent. Okay. I had my spiritual awakening moment probably when I was like in 26, 27. I don't remember, something like that, like 10 years ago, maybe. Um, no, not 10 years ago. I can't do my math. Anyway, so yeah, so many people are going through this spiritual awakening. You're realizing more things. You're realizing that it's not just a materialistic thing. It's not just a tangible thing. There's more to it in this world. It's the intangible thing that's important. The energy is the absolute truth. People think, you see this, you see an object, this is the truth. No, you just look at it, things from a very two-dimensional, or like you just judge in the surface area. But if you become more spiritually awakened, you're going to realize the energy that's behind it. What energy is creating this reality? And you realize that love is the answer to everything. And you will realize more about yourself. Like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Why is all things happening to me? All the good and bad. Once you realize the energy, you will be able to answer all these questions by yourself. That is like the spiritual awakening. And it's really important for us, humanity, to realize that. And more people are becoming spiritually awakened because universally, like, all the energy is changing right now. So exciting. However, unfortunately, ascension doesn't happen automatically. We can't just be lazy and be like, oh, it's all cool. The ascension is happening. I'm so spiritually awakened. I'm connected to the universe and the spirits. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. It could be easy, but you have to cooperate. You have to heal yourself. You have to heal all the blockages that you are carrying. And a lot of times people don't realize what kind of heavy energy they're carrying because they're so used to it. You're so used to it. And most of you, like, I tune into your childhood memories. Maybe some of you, I did it, but for most of my clients, like maybe 90% of my clients, I tune into their childhood memories. And because it's not like I want to see it, but that's what the spirits are showing me. They're letting me see all these, like when you were 3 years old, when you were 5 years old, sometimes they're not even born. It's like pre-birth memory. It goes that deep. And all those like sadness or traumatizing event that they experience, those things are creating blockages. They're the fear that you have. They're the insecurities that you have. And once ever you have these energies since you were young, so it's like you were born with it. Not that you were born with it, but you become so used to it that you don't realize that you're carrying that heavy backpack all around you. You know what I mean? So, but people realize that something's not right. Something's heavy. Something's not right. I feel stuck. I can't see the future. I can't feel excited about my future or motivated about my life. And you're sensing that something's not right. It is because you're starting to realize that, oh crap, I have some shadow, and then I gotta take care of it. But a lot of times people don't know like exactly what happened. So that's why I was there to help you, to point out your shadow, because it's there. Even if it happened 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, those incident that hurted you does not disappear. It doesn't just get deleted. Okay, I wish it was that easy, but what you need to do is you cannot really change what happened in the past, but you can change the perspective of what happened in the past. And I always tell my clients that it's like healing work is like peeling an onion. Imagine that there's a brown onion, and then even if you say, yes, I forgive my mother who abused me, it's like you peel the brown layer of the onion, but what's underneath, it's layers after layers after layers of subconscious level. The subconscious thing is the level is the tricky part, because that's the part that it's really hard for you to realize that it's there. It's in your subconscious level. So a lot of times people don't see what's going on in their subconscious energy. Okay, so energetically, it's still there. It's so freshly, vividly there. You might forget, you might not even remember about it. Sometimes when the pain is like, when some people go through something very traumatic, it's easier for them to delete the memory. So some people don't have a lot of childhood memory, But that is because it was more painful. It will hurt them more to have that memory. So your brain kind of like deleted it. But just because your brain deleted it, it doesn't mean that it disappeared. It's still there. So it's so tricky. But I want you to take your time and really realize what happened in childhood and think about all the things that hurted you. You know, it could be something so small, like your mom didn't pick up on time at school. You know, it's something so small, but you feel like you were rejected or betrayed, or you feel very upset about it. You know, now that you're an adult, it doesn't really bother you. You know, your mom was probably busy and she was 5 minutes late. But as a child, when you were like a toddler, it was a big deal. Okay. And try not to ignore that, because that is in your energy as a shadow. It's that tricky. And when you heal these shadows by forgiveness and unconditional love, you could truly, truly experience the like your spirit evolving to the next level. So shadow work is so difficult, but I want you to just don't be too scared about your shadow. You know, don't be afraid to look at your own shadow, because that's part of you. If you can't love it, then it's so hard to love yourself unconditionally. And self-love is extremely important, and it's so difficult. Self-love is so difficult because people tend to, ignore their shadow. They don't want to see their shadow. They don't want to face it. They don't want to take care of it. They just want to pretend like it doesn't exist anymore. So if you do that, you're not loving yourself 100%. You're ignoring your shadow, which is not true self-love. So self-love is the key to everything. If you want to manifest things, if you want your dreams to come true, if you want to connect more with the divine spirits and all that, it's so important that you look at your own shadow and take care of it. And then don't hate it. Um don't be too hard on yourself. Just love yourself, okay? Accept the fact that that's part of you. And you have to forgive and let go. And that's difficult. So that's why I'm going to introduce you to the candle magic that I do, because that method was effective for me. And I'll talk about my experience as well. Um, so we are going through this ascension. And right now, I told you that we're in a three-dimensional realm and we're ascending to the fifth dimension. We're going into the fifth dimension, which is completely new. And maybe some of you are already moving on to the fifth dimension. And if you are, you could probably tell the difference. Like I could tell the difference, and I hope you could tell the difference. But you will be able to connect more with the spirits. You will be able to view the world with a different perspective, like in a higher perspective. You will see the truth. You know, you will realize that all the thing that's going on in the news and media, it's not the truth. You will know what's the truth. You will be more intuitive. You will get more messages. You will be able to find the answer by yourself, instead of relying on someone or depending on someone, or being attached to a fortune teller or something like that. You know, you will be able to find the answer, because all the answer is within you. If you really go through a new dimension and access the higher dimension, you will know. It's like the feeling of knowing. I know this. And I'm not saying, okay, be arrogant, that's not what I mean, but you got to be humble, but you still kind of have this deep understanding of the truth of the world. And that's how it's going to feel like. And you won't get lost anymore, because even if just because you're in a higher dimension, I'm not saying there's not going to be an obstacle. There will always be an obstacle, because that's what keeps us humble. And that's the obstacles are there so that we can learn from it. We're never going to learn if this world is like a paradise. We're never going to learn, because we're not going to challenge ourselves. So if you go through a spiritual ascension or awakening, you will definitely feel that the world is a different place. It's not like, the world is going to change, but the world within you is going to change. Your perspective is going to change. So you will view it differently. I hope that makes sense. Can you guys agree with me? Yeah? Okay. I'm afraid, I sometimes just go on and I don't want to leave anyone behind. I just want to make sure everybody understands this. And don't be afraid to, if you have any question, I should have said this earlier, but if you have any question, just type it up like, okay, what do you mean by that? Okay. So, because I could see the chat. I hope I can. Okay. Um, yeah, so we are reaching up to the higher vibrational state. Mhm. And unfortunately, not everyone is going to experience that. Some people chooses not to go through the spiritual awakening, spiritual ascension. Okay, and more males are closed. I don't know why. Oh, well, I guess I know why. It's because think about animals. The males are like hunting, and the females are breastfeeding their cubs, right? They're nurturing, but male is more about like fighting and attacking and making money and feeding the kids and all that. So their energy is more focused towards like materialistic things. Yet, and females are more about like intuition. You intuitively know that this person is safe. Can I trust this babysitter? Mother knows that intuitively. So because we have a different energy, more females are becoming more spiritually awakened. And some people don't want to go through that because they are not strong enough. Spiritual awakening takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of patience too. And you really have to be strong in order for you to be ready to face your truth, because the truth is not always pretty. It's ugly. It's ugly, it's icky, it's so like dark and egotistical and all that. But you're going to be strong enough to face all that and be like, oh, I have this, and I'm going to take care of it. It's okay. I'll take care of it. No matter how long it takes, I'm going to take care of it. So if you are humble enough to look at your own shadow and try to improve yourself, you can do that. But some people choose it's not to. It's because it's easier for them to blame other people. Like, hey, it's your fault. It's my boss's fault. It's my company's fault. They never appreciate me. It's my husband's fault. My kids doesn't give me any freedom. It's their fault. When people are so closed and when they're so hurt, they tend to blame other people because it's easier for them than to blame me, than to blame themselves. So some people chooses to live like that, and it's totally fine because we all have free will. But if you don't stop blaming other people, if you don't go through this spiritual awakening, they're going to suffer more, unfortunately, because the like I said, the earth energy is evolving, ascending. And if you, the human, is having this heavy ego and a lot of problem and blaming other people, being a victim, this person is not going to resonate with this universal energy that's like updating. The earth universal energy is updating and upgrading and ascending. But if you're like, no, it's everybody's fault, why is this always happening to me, and always complaining and angry and arrogant, this person is not going to resonate with the new energy. So it's like they're going against the flow. Like imagine the new energy, the love energy, the universal energy is circulating clockwise, and egotistical person is like going against the flow, turning counterclockwise. That's a mess, to be honest. But it's their choice. They don't want to evolve. So we can't really change. Let's say your husband is like so against the spirituality because he's so maybe religious, or he was he was raised not to believe in those stuff, and you might get into argument. But no matter how much you love this person, you cannot change their way of thinking. They have to want to change it. Okay. And so try not to control people, because that's unconditional love. You accept that person for who he or she is unconditionally. That is unconditional love. It's extremely difficult, I know, but we have to be patient. And my advice to you is don't focus on other people, but just focus on yourself. Because if you evolve, if you radiate more love and more positive energy, you will attract more love and positive energy. And your powerful, loving energy will be able to um, help or radiate, and it's going to help other people in a subconscious level. Okay. So don't focus too much and don't try to control other people. Yes, like you want your whole family to ascend. So focus on yourself. Okay. Always focus on yourself, because if you focus on other people, you will feel tired. You're going to be frustrated. Okay. Focus on yourself and let go of the ego that you want to control someone. I know that you're doing with a goodwill, like you care for this person, you care for your boyfriend, you want your husband to ascend, you want your sister to spiritually open, but you just got to respect them. However, you could help them, but you can't control them. There's a difference. I want you to understand the difference. There's a difference between helping and controlling. Okay. It's all in your hands. You have to access the deepest and darkest emotions so you can feel compassion towards everyone. And that is the key to the ascension. If you deny your shadow, you're going to delay your ascension. Okay. So that's why shadow work is so extremely important, because we all want to ascend, right? We all want to connect. We will all want to know who we truly are. We suffer on this earth because we don't know who we truly are. I'm talking about soul level. I'm not just talking about what you see or what titles you have. I'm not just talking about that, but it's more deeper. What does your soul want to experience? This is all about experience. It's not about perfecting something, but it's all about what you're experiencing is extremely important. So don't ever try to be perfect, because there is no such thing as perfect. Okay. It's all experience. And it's just your ego trying to perfect things. Like you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want other people to judge you. And all that, especially if you're like perfectionist, you're gonna delay yourself from this spiritual ascension, because like you have a fear of taking action. You tend to kind of hold it back, and you're going to be like, oh, I'm not ready yet, I'm not good enough yet, I don't have the certificate yet. And it's like you're making excuses not to do it. So that's a problem with the perfectionist. When are you going to be perfect? Instead of being perfect, you have to believe in yourself and take action and learn from your mistakes. That is the best way to evolve. Like you learn from your mistakes and your experience. Okay. So please, please, if you have something in your mind, don't be afraid to do it, but just do it. You can learn so much from doing it, and rather than trying to perfect it. Because if you look at it from the universal point of view, like they don't judge you as a perfect or imperfect person. It's just an experience. Okay. It is just your own ego that's making that judgment. So try to let go of that judgment towards yourself and let go of the ego and experience something new. You have to get out of your comfort zone. That's another thing with shadow work. Shadow work, it sounds like you're just looking at your own negativities. But if you think about it, shadow work is also about getting out of your comfort zone. Do something new. Do something that makes you uncomfortable. Explore something new. Like some people don't have any fear of like challenging, but I do. And I think a lot of people do because they don't want to fail, or they don't want to waste money, they don't want to go to the wrong path. We all have this fear. A lot of people do. And it's so important that you let go of that fear. And that's part of the shadow work. It's like you're acknowledging the fact that I'm fearing people's judgment. I'm fearing haters on the social media. I'm fearing how my friends will look at me when I talk about spirituality. Like all that is the fear that you're going to realize when you're about to challenge something new. So you could realize all these different things that is in your energy field when you do something new. Okay. I hope I'm making sense. This is all about shadow work. Yeah. So you're not here to perfect anything. You're here to just experience it all. You're just experiencing more of ourselves, more of you. Okay. And we are moving to the fifth dimensional version of me, you. And do you guys know the term higher selves? We all have higher selves. This right here is my egotistical Lisa lower self. And I have a greater version of me. And in my case, like I connect from my channeling space, which is around like above my head, like right here. And that's how I do it. But maybe you might do it from your heart, you might do it like right here. I don't know. People have different ways of connecting with their own higher selves, and there's no right or wrong answer, okay? But that's just how I do it. And we have higher selves, and our higher self doesn't have any ego. It is like the perfect version of you. You're so perfectly pure and loving, and you don't have any fear, and you're just perfect. I just told you there's no such thing as perfect, but in a different dimension, there is, I guess. Sorry if I'm making complicated. I hope I'm not confusing you, but in a different dimension, there's like so much love and light. So that's what I call it, the perfect. It's like just my definition, okay? And we all have higher selves. And even our higher selves are going through ascension. Isn't that exciting? I thought this was like the really great part of me and then the best part of me. But even our like invisible higher selves are evolving. Like that kind of makes sense because this whole energy, our this Lisa is evolving. Yeah, this higher self gotta evolve at the same rate because otherwise I'm gonna be. I mean, when we go through ascension, it's like we're living like in higher selves. Okay, but our higher self is even more evolving. So it's never ending. Yeah. So shadow work is basically never ending. So don't ever be like, oh, I already did my shadow work. That is arrogant. Okay. Don't ever think like I already did my shadow work and I'm happy with my life. No. You're gonna be humble. You know, it's never ending. Yeah. So higher self is also evolving. Isn't that exciting? So if you want to experience that, you really have to let go of that shadow. And as you release resistance in that you have, there's only like a pure experience. So try to let go of that resistance. We all tend to do that because it's normal as a human being to kind of like resist, like, I don't want to let go. Because it's like you're jumping into something that's totally new and then you have no idea what's out there. You know, it is scary. So only the brave souls could do that. You know, you guys are all brave souls. Like you are probably here because you are light workers. You're trying to serve people. You're trying to bring more love and light to the people. So you really have to work on yourself so you could help more people. Okay. There is no such thing as we have enough light worker on this earth. You know, we never don't. Like there's so many people who's suffering. Like think about it. Go think about your workplace or your family or your friends. So many people are suffering because they don't know, first of all, they don't know how to get help. They don't know who to go to get help. Okay. If you go to like egotistical person and ask for help, that person is going to give you like a wrong advice. Be like, oh, get away from that person. He's evil. She's evil. You know, like, hey, we're all one. You know, as a spirit, we're oneness. We're whole. Try to let go of that judgment. And you really have to find the right person. So it's important that I teach all these information because more people needs to help each other. You know, we have to support each other. We have to share how to live more happily. And, you know, you do not have to be like a professional Reiki master or healing or certified, blah, blah, blah. You don't need all that. Like that's just a security. You know, if you don't have confidence in yourself, you could have that. You could pay money to get that certificate and work as a professional healer. However, you don't need it. It's just a simple kindness. It's just in you. It's free. You know, you're not losing anything just because you share it, right? So it's so simple, but we fear doing it. Believe it or not, we have a fear of sharing that because we have a fear of expressing who we truly are. we have a fear of other people judging you. Okay, so it's just like, think about it. Like, you already have like enough knowledge, wisdom, experience, or spiritual awakening experience. You already have enough to help people, help save a soul, to make someone feel happier. Then think about it. Why are you not doing more? You know, what is my blockage? You have to think about, what is my blockage? Maybe you do have the desire to help people, but you don't know how to get started. Okay, you can't just expect something to just come in front of you and then you counsel them or help them or heal them. Sometimes it's important that you take the leap of faith and get out there, get out there on the social media and then talk about your experience. Maybe your experience will encourage other people. Maybe you went through child abuse and you could tell about like how you overcome that and how you went through forgiving that person. And your story is going to encourage other people. Okay, you could encourage people that if you have that anger and hate, you're never going to heal yourself and you're never going to go anywhere. You're just stuck in that negative energy. So by you having your own unique experience, that is your treasure, that is your gift. All of your experiences are your gift, it's your treasure. So you could share your gift with other people. It's just simple as talking about your own experience. And that's how you kind of get out of your comfort zone. And then when you do more light work, so that those are called light work, okay? You're basically serving other people. When you help other people, and when you do more of that, believe it or not, the spirits are going to help you unlimitedly. They're going to give you more support, energetic support. And it might not be very obvious. So you might miss it. You might miss all the tiny signs that they're sending to you. But it could be simple as like getting an intuitive messages. Okay. It's not going to be like hearing a voice or maybe seeing a vision or a psychic person telling you, oh, you should do this. It might not be that obvious, but still pay attention to your thoughts. Those are the messages. Okay, like for example, I am getting out of my comfort zone. First of all, to let you know, I believe it or not, I hate public speaking. Okay, I just hate public speaking. And I didn't even know how to say hello to people when I was a toddler. That's how much I hated people, or maybe I should say feared people. I was afraid of people. And I was the weird girl who will always hide behind my mom's legs and don't make any eye contact with anyone. I just feared human beings. It was really uncomfortable for me because I was very sensitive to energy. I was feeling people's ego, and it was hurting me because I was extra sensitive to people's ego. So without even talking to that person or getting to know that person, I was able to like tell if that person is faithful or not, or like bad person or good person. It's like, so as a child, as a toddler, I was like prejudging them. And it was not a good feeling because I'm prejudging them. It's not a good feeling. And it was hurting me. But I realized that my sensor to catch people's ego is later becoming my unique gift. So that is what I'm doing right now. Like basically, I'm tuning into your wings and then I see their ego equals to their shadow. Okay. So if I am a victim and if I be like, oh, I hate myself, why do I always feel this way? Why do I always prejudge people? If I was like that, like a toddler Lisa forever, I would never be here where I am right now and be able to help all of you. So sometimes like your gift is something that's not so beautiful or something that's not so like wow by other people. It could be something very like inconvenient or something that could be hurting you, like my childhood. I was feeling all that and I was not happy and I would not talk to people at all. And I was always the quiet one. Like, don't see me, please, people, don't see me. Like I wanted to be invisible for real. And that was like all my childhood. So um see, and I'm talking to all of you like this. I'm coming out of my comfort zone, to be honest. But I'm doing it because I got this vision that of me doing a Zoom meeting. Okay. So I was like, please no. I got the message. I saw the vision of me doing a Zoom meeting confidently, but I was like, no, 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 no. I don't like it. I don't want to be on camera. No, like I don't want to be known. And my ego is fighting, it's like, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. But my ego, my lower self is like, no, I'm not ready. I don't want to, I don't think I'm ready. I don't think people will listen to me. And so intuition is very like subtle and you got to catch that. And a lot of times I feel like all of you are receiving messages, but it's just the fact that you don't want to listen because it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. You might get messages like, that's going to inconvenience you. Like you're afraid to do it. So you're going to ignore it. So that's why you guys aren't, I shouldn't say you guys, but that's why some people are stuck because, the spirits are trying to give you messages, but you're not open enough. Like you're so close. You don't want to do it. You don't want to get out of your comfort zone. So you would just be stuck in that uncomfortable negative energy, which is comfortable to you. You know what I mean? Like literally, like it's not the best energy, but you're so comfortable in that toxic energy or uncomfortable situation. So, get out of your comfort zone. It's so important. And that's part of the shadow work. You're facing your own shadow, you're realizing what your blockages are, and then you're acknowledging it and try to challenge yourself. The miracle is not just going to happen automatically, like bam. You're not just going to win the lottery and your life is going to change. You have to cooperate. You have to work with the spirits. You have to work on your inner self. You have to work with your inner child. That's the key. You have to work with your inner child because a lot of times the shadow is directly connected to your inner child. Okay, so it's extremely important that you take care of your childhood and try to comfort her. I'm sure I did. I explained how to comfort your inner child, and yeah, if you got a reading from me, I hope you know what I'm talking about. And all the spirits, the earth, the universe is supporting you, but you're not feeling like you're not being supported. You feel like the life isn't fair. Why do Lisa get all this information and I don't? Life is not fair. Actually the life is fair. It's like we all have this opportunity, equal opportunities. The universe, the source loves us unconditionally, very equally. It's not like the God is giving me like 120% of the energy and they're only giving you 30% of the energy. No, like because I'm open, I'm able to receive more messages and energy. And I opened myself up because I overcame my own fear and I took care of my shadow. That's why I have the bigger capacity to handle it. So it's all about working on your shadow so you could slowly open up your channel and then get more information. Okay, so information, the energy is coming down to us all equally. But it's just you're the cup. You gotta open up your the surface. You got to open up your cup so that you could get more information. It is your choice. Okay, this is your choice. Nobody is forcing you to do this. It's your choice. If you don't want to do it, that's not my business. I respect your choice. I respect your choice, but I know what's good for you because I've been through that. I was stuck. To be honest, I've never had like a very traumatic thing happen in my life. And I didn't experience anything like really, really, really bad like some people do. But my biggest pain or my struggle was that because I was more spiritually open, I really struggled to find out who I really was. Like, why do I exist here? It was that kind of feeling. And you might think that's nothing compared to like child abuse, but in my opinion, it's like equally painful in my opinion. I'm sorry, I never was abused, so I shouldn't be saying that, but it's that painful. Like, I want to know, but I don't know why I exist. I don't know why, what I'm supposed to be doing. I know that there's something, but the fact that I don't know it yet, that really hurted me so bad. And I was in spiritual pain. Okay, not physical pain, but spiritually painful because it's so uncomfortable. Like, this earth is a beautiful place, but why am I here? Why is this place such a chaos? Why are everybody hating each other, and the war never ends, and it's a mess. And I hated it. So it was so painful to have that kind of anger towards the world. And that was my pain. That was like my pain. I know everybody else have their own unique pain, like your parents being strict on you, or your husband cheated on you, you have financial money security problem, or health problems. We all have different lessons. There is no such thing as like perfect person without any struggle. Okay, so don't compare your struggle with mine. Don't compare your struggle with your best friend Susie. Okay, we all have different struggle, and you just have to focus on yourself. Don't focus too much on other people, because if you do that, you're going to feel miserable. You're going to always compare yourself with other people and be like, I'm better than you, or oh, I suck. It's going to be like, ugh, you're never going to be stable. Just focus on yourself. That's all you need to do. Shadow work is about focusing on yourself, and it's never ending. And the earth is shifting, the energy is shifting, and it's all about merging and shifting perspective. It's about merging the polarities. The masculine energy and the masculinity and femininity is merging. The positive and the negative, the darkness and the light. It's all about merging. Before maybe like 19 something something, it was all about separation. Men are supposed to be like this, women are supposed to be like this, blah blah blah. And all that is changing. Like, men are not supposed to wear piercings, they're not supposed to wear nail polish, and all that is merging. That's why there's so many more feminine males, I guess. Like, male wearing makeup, which is so normal. They're wearing skirt, so what? They're wearing dangly earrings, and it's okay. Like, because the energy is changing, it's all about merging. And like letting go of that separation, the category, like but it's still going on a lot right now. All the thing that was underneath the surface, it's coming up. It's coming up. That's why all these, it's a chaos right now. Like, all the racist discrimination, kicking out immigrants, all these things, all this chaos is happening right now because it's trying to merge, but there's like a resistance. Some people are hating, some people don't agree with it, and it's a chaos. So I think all these things are coming up to the surface level. I mean, there was always a discrimination and racist and all that problem. It was always there, but 2020 was terrible, right? It was like, wow, I've never seen such bad news in all my life. It's like, wow, something's different, something's not right. And it is because of the ascension. All that thing that was hidden, you can't hide. You can no longer hide these things. All these energy is coming up to the surface level. So that's why it was a very, very dramatic year, 2020, because of that energy is changing. It's not just because of the COVID. It's also because of like the universal energy. And COVID is just what triggered it, I guess. And well, I'm not gonna go too deep about that, but so yeah, we gotta stop blaming others. It's not about China's fault. It's not about the government, Donald Trump, Biden. We gotta stop blaming. We gotta stop blaming. It's just focus on yourself. Focus on yourself, because the world peace begins in yourself, within yourself. It's the inner peace. If you don't have the inner peace, you have no right to blame other people and then talk shit about other people. Just focus on your peace, because when you have a lot of love and peaceful energy, your energy will radiate, and it's going to influence other people in a positive way. Okay. If you have a lot of negativity and hate and anger, your energy will radiate and you're going to create that reality. Simple as that. That is the universal law. That is the universal law of reflection, law of attraction, law of frequency. There's different universal law, but it's very similar. So, just don't try not to focus on the chaos that's going on in the world, but try to focus on your inner peace. Just focus on yourself. And when you do your shadow work, you will experience the new you. You will see the new you, and then you'll be able to live life completely differently. And then just because like you're a more spiritually awakened, don't just be like, oh, I'm better than you. Try to help other people. Your purpose is to help people because that's what humanity wants to do. That's what our soul wants to do. We want to help each other because as a spirit, we all know that we're all connected as one. There is no separation. So if you have more knowledge than your friend, if you feel like you have a power to heal people, then go do it. Don't let fear hold you back. You gotta take action and do it. Just do it. And then you're gonna learn from your mistake. I'm not saying it's gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be like the way you imagine, but it's okay. You're just learning from that. Maybe you gotta approach differently. Maybe you shouldn't be so straightforward with this person. Maybe with someone who's believing in religion, you gotta approach it in a different direction. And you're going to learn how to help people as you help people. But if you don't help people, you're not going to learn what's the right way. Okay. I mean, I learned a lot with my own mistakes and my own experience. That's why I'm able to help people. Just because I have 300 clients, it doesn't mean I always tell them the same old thing. I'm not just a broken record. I tune into that person and I delivered a message so that they will understand it, so that they will resonate with my message. So you gotta kind of like change your shape, your energy, your color, so that they will accept it. You gotta be creative. Okay. Today I'm gonna talk about the candle magic. Okay, so we all do candle magic, right? Do you guys realize that? Okay, even if you didn't do this magic that I tell you to do, like this candle magic, we all do candle magic. Are you guys aware of that? We all do candle magic. When? On your birthday. So on the birthday cake, we have like a candle, right? I mean, have you ever questioned why we do that? It's like we so do it very naturally that we don't even question because it's a ritual. It's a ritual. It's like normal. Everybody else does it, so we never question. So even if someone is like religious, they still do the candle magic. But when it comes to witches and witchcraft and white magic and black magic, they judge you. They'll be like, oh, don't do that. That's like BS. Some people get uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable when it becomes more of like a witchy stuff. But even they're doing it magic. We all blow up the candle and we make a wish and blow the candle and celebrate our birthday. And then they're basically doing candle magic. But people tend to judge people, like prejudge people, because they don't know, because they don't have that information. Okay. But if everybody else is doing it, it's considered okay. Isn't that weird? Like if everybody's doing it, it's okay, but they never question it, So candle magic is not like a dangerous stuff or not like a weird religion or anything like that, in my opinion. But some people do it very religiously, and there are some like culture who does it very like, I don't know, maybe Latin culture, maybe. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. But even like Buddhism, in Japan, we have an altar and then we always burn candle. But the burning candle, it means like protection. It also means like sending prayers. So without realizing it, we all do that. And it's very natural. Like it was always there in our life. But the candle magic is more focusing intention of today, we're going to focus intention on what you want to let go. Okay. So there's going to be a lot of things that you might want to write down what you want to let go. But let me first like explain to you how I got into this. So when I was like 26 years old, that was the first time I did the candle magic. My friend, my psychic friend who told me how to do the candle magic. And this was not about release. It was more about manifesting or manifestation candle magic. And I did it, and guess what? It didn't work. I did not get the thing that I wanted it. I didn't get it. And I didn't give up. I did it again, and it failed again. And I did it again, and I still didn't get it. So I'm telling you this not to discourage you, but it's to let you know that, I learned from that. See, I learned from that experience that now that I think about it, I wasn't ready to receive that. I wasn't ready. I didn't really focus on my shadow, my ego, my spiritual journey, and all I was focusing on want. I was greedy. I was desperate. I wanted it. That's human nature. It's normal. We all do that. I want the money. I want the fame. I want the boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. I want the health. I want the beauty. All that, it's totally normal as a human nature to want. But the more you're not fulfilled, you're going to be more greedy. Like your dream is going to be more like all about wanting stuff. And if you're fulfilled, you're going to start focusing on what can I give? How can I serve? It's all about giving. And the more you give, the more you get. I mean, I'm not giving just because I want to get it, but it's going to be natural for you to want to give to people, to want to serve people. And then like universal energy is going to support you. That's why unlimited abundance, or there's going to be a lot of fortune that you're going to receive because you're giving so much to people. And I really did experience that. So I'm talking this from my own experience. So if you feel like you're never lucky, try focusing on giving. I'm not talking about material stuff or money, okay? It's about giving care, giving love, giving compassion. It's about, being part of someone's life and helping that person with unconditional love. And when you do that, the spirits will help you. The spirits are with you. The universe is going to work on you. So really important that you serve to people. Like, you guys are all here as a light worker. That's why you are more spiritually awakened than other people. So going back to my story, yeah, the magic that I did was a failure, but I still continue. And so don't be desperate. When you feel like you're not getting what you want, maybe something's not right. Maybe you're not asking for the right thing. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe you haven't done your shadow work yet. Maybe you haven't took action. For example, you might say, I want to be an actress. I want to be an actress. And you do the candle magic and you make a wish. You did it 10 years, nothing's happening. But my question is, hey, are you polishing your skills? Are you going to audition? Are you taking action? Are you learning new languages? Are you learning new moves? All that. Like if you're not doing it, you're not going to get it, right? So it's pretty obvious. So when you are desperate and when you like want something so bad, but when you're not getting it, think about it. Like what energy can you change? What is it that you're not doing right? Okay. So, you have to contemplate, you have to think about it. And so like around 8 years ago, I started focusing on my shadow work, and I have this journal that I always keep. And then I write down my wishes, and I also write down like what I want to let go of. And about 8 years ago, I wrote down, I want to let go of my ego. So that's when I first did my shadow work. I focused on my shadow work, or letting go of my ego, because 8 years ago, I realized that, wow, ego was the thing that I was blocking me. It was the resistance. It was like, I want this. Consciously, I want to be like this. I want to help people. I want to heal people. But subconsciously, there's like so much fear that's inside of me, because when I was a child, like all those people didn't really understand me, and I was the weird kid, and I couldn't really express myself. So all that fear is inside of me. So even if I want to help people consciously, all that shadow is still stuck in there. So I wasn't going anywhere. So I realized the importance of letting go of my ego, letting go of people's judgment and all that. And it I really focus on healing myself. I wasn't born like this automatically. We all go through a lot of pain and peeling an onion skin so that we could really be our true self. And even now, I don't really feel like I'm being myself to the fullest potential. I know that there's more. I know that I could do more, and I know I'll do something greater, but I'm not there yet because I'm not ready. I don't have the capacity. I'm not, my body isn't ready. My mind isn't ready. My energy isn't ready, but I'm working to heal myself so that I could be there. And it takes time, but it's okay. I still have time. I'm still going to be on this earth a couple more decades, maybe. So don't give up. The moment you give up, that's the end of it. No matter how hard it is, or no matter how much you feel like you're not going anywhere, do not give up. And if you feel like you're so stuck and not going anywhere and you just feel so frustrated, get some help. Maybe you need some professional like counseling or therapist or something like that, you know, or find a mentor or do something different. Maybe that's not your path. You wanted to do Reiki healing, but you wanted to be a Reiki teacher, but nobody's coming to you. Maybe that's not your path. Maybe your gift is to teach people how to express themselves by dancing and singing and movement and exercising. Maybe that's your path. So don't be attached to one thing and be too disparate about it. If one thing isn't working, come on, open up your mind. There's unlimited possibilities, and you're going to try something new, right? Unlimited possibility, but your stubbornness is like, oh no, I got to do this. I spent $500 to get this certificate. I want to do it. Let go of that attachment. Sometimes when you're so desperate and when you're so stuck in that box, you don't realize that you kind of we all do this. We all justify ourselves and be like, oh, maybe my price is not right. Maybe where I live in Idaho, nobody cares. Never know. Maybe you're, blaming other things and trying to justify yourself. But really, experiment something new. Always try something different. And then after you tried like 10 multiple different things, you might realize that, wow, now that I learned all that, I finally came to realize that Reiki is what I want to do. And that's okay. That's okay. But all that experience is your treasure. That's what it matters. And I want to talk about my first experience doing candle magic. And this is kind of important. I know I'm talking a lot, but I feel like these lessons or stories are important because I want you to realize how this is working. Okay. If you can't catch this subtle sign, you're going to feel discouraged. And I don't want you to feel discouraged. So I'm going to tell you how subtle it is. Okay, so my first experience, so like I said, I did my candle magic when I was like, what, 8 years ago or something like that. And it's not like I was doing every single month, but finally, like year 2020, end of year 2020, I realized that magic was working. Come on, it took me 8 years. Okay, so it's that not obvious. It's not obvious. So don't expect a miracle to happen, but you really got to be patient with yourself and just keep believing. Okay. And so first experience last year, like when one of my video blew up and then so many people contacted me to get a reading from me. And I was like overwhelmed. I even have a panic attack because I couldn't handle all these hundreds and thousands of email that was coming. And it just happened out of the blue one day and I could not handle it. So I couldn't breathe. I was like, oh my God, am I going to be able to do this? Because I wasn't like really actively doing this professionally. So I didn't really have this system or like stable foundation, and everything was new to me. I didn't even have like a mailing list and website. I think I had the website, but I just freshly made it recently. So everything was new, but one day, like I was getting so many requests for reading, and I was like really, really busy doing reading every single day. And then without realizing it, my energy was connecting to a lot of my clients. Okay, so it's not like I was connecting, like plugging my energy to my clients, but because I care about them and because I, wish them the happiness and good luck, even after I did a reading, apparently my energy was being connected to them, or maybe their energy was connected to me, like I don't know. I don't know. I can't really tell how it was happening. But, anyways, the energy was connected. So I was feeling extremely drained and tired. And even like I sleep like 7, 8 hours every day. But during that time, I was sleeping like 9+ hours, but I was still feeling tired. And it was hard for me to get up in the morning. Even if I get up, it was feeling tired and overwhelmed, and like not so happy about it. Like I was grateful that I was getting this much clients, but it was really hard for me. My body was like, oh, so heavy. It's like I have dumbbells on my wing, and and then my psychic friend was like, "Hey, Lisa, I think you're connected to so many of your clients. Like I know you care about them, but you really got to let go of them." I was like, "What?" Consciously, it's not like I'm grabbing them or connecting with them, but energetically, you never know what's happening, and that's what's happening, and it kind of made sense. I was like, "Oh wow, well." I'm not really intending on connecting with them, but I do think about them. I do wish that, oh, I hope she's okay, or, all that. And that is connecting to energy. And so I did the full moon magic releasing ceremony, and I wrote down that, hey, I let go of all these people. Not that I don't care about them, or I never want to see them again. No, it's not like that. But just energetically, I'm just releasing it. And that's what I did. And then so I did the full moon magic at the beach, and I burned a paper, I burned a candle and all that. The next morning, when I woke up, I realized, wow, something's different. It feels lighter. It's lighter. I felt the difference. And I knew that it was the magic that was successful. It connected. I was like, oh, it's the magic. It worked. So I felt like all this energy. And then like when you get so used to that heavy energy, you kind of think that it's normal. But fortunately, I was able to realize that, wow, I was carrying on a lot of heavy energy from other people. And then I was back to myself. And ever since then, I never felt the same way. So after that, it's been like a couple months now, but I never felt that tired anymore. And so it's really important that you protect yourself. And maybe next time I'll talk about protection, because I could share a lot of interesting story based on protection and psychic attacks. So that's when I realized that, wow, magic really works. It took me 8 years to realize that, but hey, it's never too late. And the second time that I did magic and realized that it was working was that when I was playing the bowl, like these singing bowls. Do you know? Have you seen these? So I have a smaller version of this, like in my trunk. I always carry in my car. And when I was doing magic with my friend at the beach, I was playing this bowl. And then my friend has a lot of healing to do. So I was focusing on her. I was prioritizing her and be like, okay, I'll help you out. And I was playing these bowls around her. And it felt like I was peeling or lifting out her heavy energy. But I realized that, wow, as I'm healing her, my crown kind of like opened up, and then the negative stuff, like unnecessary stuff, was coming out of my crown. And it was like a confirmation. I kind of knew it, but then I was like, wow, it's like I witnessed it. I felt it. I experienced it. I was helping my friend, but then it's like a proof that we're all connected because I'm connected with her. Like energetically, I'm connected with all of you. So because I'm helping her, helping you, I'm also helping myself. I'm also healing myself. So this is why it's so important to help each other and heal and like share love to people, because it's like they're all part of you. It's the oneness. And so as I was helping her, hold on, someone chatted to me. Let me see the chat. So the candle work with the full moons, releasing things. Yeah. So full moon, I just got a question. Full moon is for releasing. Okay. It's I would recommend it for shadow work. And new moon is for good for manifesting things. Okay. So new moon, when the moon is black, when there's no moon that you can see. I mean, there is a moon, but we can't see it because of the location of the sun. And new moon is when you do manifestation. So maybe I could talk about that on the next new moon if you're interested. Would you be interested in that? Yeah. Okay. Maybe I could talk about that because there's a little tips on how to manifest things. It's not just like, yeah, like blowing the candle and that, you know. So full moon is releasing. So yeah, so it's okay that you kind of make wishes if you want to and do affirmation if you want to. That's totally fine. But focus on releasing, let go of things. Okay. So that's new. So I was going back to my story. I was working on this and blah, blah, blah. I was healing my friend. And as I was doing it, I was like healing myself as well. And I'm like, I wasn't thinking about this one incident that I had with my friend, like a relationship problem that I had with my friend. But I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't asking for that answer. But the answer got downloaded. I was like, boom, now I know why she reacted like that, you know? So a while ago, this one person was saying something very disrespectful to me and rude to me, and it hurted my feeling. I was like, why? Why is she saying this to me? You know, I was like, I couldn't understand. What did I do? You know, I know being a victim is not going to solve anything. I know that. But I couldn't figure out why this person was disrespecting me like that or saying something nasty to me like that. Like I genuinely felt like I didn't deserve that word. I didn't. So I know I had to be humble and I had to stay out of that victim conscious mind, but I couldn't understand. When I was playing the bull, doing the full moon magic, boom, the answer got downloaded in me. And I was like, oh my God. It's like my mind was into her mind and I was able to think what she was thinking. And because of that, I was be able to be more compassionate towards her because this person was being disrespectful to me because she was angry. The fact that I didn't show respect to her. It's like I didn't acknowledge her, you know? And everybody have that addiction of being acknowledged. Like they want to be acknowledged. They want to feel like they're special. But apparently I didn't show that enough that it made her upset. And she reacted by saying something mean to me, which I was being a victim and like, poor Lisa, why am I treated like this? But anyways, I figured out like it was simply that she wanted to be respected. So because of that, I was able to forgive her more easily and understand all the energy behind it, not just judging her by, oh, what a bitchy lady, you know, not like that, but I was able to understand why she was being a bitchy lady by understanding her emotion, her pain. So I was able to like have more compassion towards her, which was amazing. Like because of that, I feel like I peeled another onion skin. I know there's a lot more. I'll be humble and I'll acknowledge that, but I was able to peel at least maybe one layer of the onion skin, which was a big deal for me. So that was like the second time, which was this year that I did the magic, and it was a successful magic. Now, the second example of my success story on this full moon magic was more obvious. It's like, boom, mind blown. You know, I figured out what the answer was. But the first one is more subtle. Like, I woke up differently, you know? And just let you know, all these like magic, the power of this magic is something very subtle. And you could easily misinterpret it. You could easily ignore it or think like, oh, it must be the supplement that I took yesterday, you know? It must be the movie that I saw yesterday. We could easily kind of like think differently. So you have to really be careful, like about energy. You don't have to be a psychic in order for you to catch that, but you just have to have more interest in yourself. It's like you gotta understand your emotion, your feelings. Okay. You don't have to be clairsentient, clairvoyant, clairaudient to understand this, but just show more interest in yourself and then try to understand yourself. So you will see the difference. Okay. And then if your mind is always busy, you're never going to get that. So that's why meditation is important, to quiet your mind. When your mind is chatting, you're not never going to connect. The information is not going to like link, like connect. Okay. So just because you had a good night and woke up lightly, you might be like, oh, it must be the strawberry that I ate yesterday, because I like strawberries. It's really easy for you to misinterpret it or misunderstand or not understand what the magic is about. Okay, so be careful. I want you to realize it's that subtle. Okay, so yeah, don't expect the miracles to happen, but be aware of all these small changes that's going to happen. So everybody has paper, right? Paper. Now, on a piece of paper, you're going to write down your name. Any kind of paper is okay. It could be like big, small, tiny business card, whatever. You're going to write down your name, your full name, and your date of birth, and your location, like, Los Angeles, California, or New York, whatever. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to write the whole address, but just a location, okay? And then after you write down your name, your date of birth, and your location, it's just so that you're letting the universe know that you exist right here and you are trying to heal yourself. That's the purpose of writing this. It's like identifying yourself. And write down things that you want to let go of. So as I was speaking, I'm sure you guys came up with a lot of things that you want to heal. Don't ignore all those childhood memories. Just because it doesn't bother you anymore, it doesn't mean it's deleted. Okay, it's in your subconscious level. So write down things that you want to let go. Write down the names that the people that you want to forgive. Your ex-husband, your ex-boyfriend, your ex-wife, your ex-girlfriend, your best friend who backstabbed you, all that. It could be your like kindergarten classmate who bullied you, or it could be the teacher who didn't help you when you needed the help. It could be your mother who was being strict on you when you didn't get any freedom. You know, anything's fine. Like just because you say, I forgive you, my mom, I forgive you, my dad, it doesn't mean that you kind of like have um bad relationship with them. It's just that you need to heal that one incident. So write down, I'm giving you this time right now, write down things that you want to let go of. And once you write down all the things that you want to release, towards the end, you could include like a positive affirmation or like a vision of who you want to be. Like, I want to be more loving and compassionate. I want to heal people. I want to become a light worker. I want to be a better mother. You could add on like a positive affirmation. You don't have to go too detailed because with that, you could, if you want to go very detailed, you could do that on the new moon, okay, which is a different energy. But this right here is all about releasing. And you could add an affirmation or something that you want to manifest. World peace. I always include the peace, world peace, because that's what I really wish. That is why I'm doing this, because I feel like the world peace begins in individual's peace. And now you're going to take your candle, the jar candle. I mean, I use a jar candle because it's safer. And you can use any kind of candle. And there's Jesus Christ. Right now I'm burning Guadalupe candle, and this is a guardian angel. And then do you guys have this tool, like sharp tool, to engrave it? If you do, I want you to engrave your name and your date of birth and your location. Okay. If you don't, maybe you use like a pencil to engrave it. It doesn't have to be like really, really perfect. I know that you won't be able to read it, but that's okay. So you write down your name, your date of birth, And then write it clockwise if you can. I mean, if you started already, it's okay. Sorry, I should have said it earlier, but write it clockwise in a circular motion. I mean, if you write it like a paragraph, that's okay too. There's no like strict rules. Maybe some Wiccan people are doing it very religiously and very strictly, and I'm not trying to disrespect them, but in my opinion, I don't feel like there's only one answer. You know, there's so many different, you could be creative and there's no right or wrong answer. So name, date of birth, and where you're from. Maybe you could just write the initial of your state. And after you did that, if this is optional, but if you have anointing oil, you're gonna dress it. Okay. Any kind of oil is fine, and you don't have to use like an expensive doTERRA essential oil if you don't want to. You could just use olive oil or whatever, but you're just going to take a little bit of this anointing oil, and this is completely optional. Just take a little bit, and this one is specifically for candle magic, and go around this rim 3 times, and with the intention of like, I'm serious about this. I want to let go of this. So do the prayers. And then you could pour a little bit of your oil inside of the jar candle, just a little bit. And this is called dressing your candle. Dressing your candle. Like, you know, how you dress your salad. You know, you dress the salad by coating your vegetables with oils and seasoning, right? And this is how you dress the candle. You put oil. And then instead of the seasoning, I mean, you could put seasoning like sometimes like basil or chamomile, lavender, cinnamon, all that is used in magic. Like you're incorporating the nature spirit in this, okay? But instead of the spices, today I'm gonna use powder incense. And if you don't have powder incense, don't worry, but just sprinkle some powder incense, just a little bit. And I use powder incense on my palm of my hand. And just inhale. And to anoint myself. So this is called like anointing the candle. It shows that you have like intention of healing yourself. So that's why you're taking this time to putting energy in this candle, okay? So now that you dressed your candle, oh, just to let you know, by the way, formal version, like if you want to go extra fancy, formal version of like doing Wiccan candle magic is you do like you use your finger, like fire finger and the spirit finger, and kind of like dress it clockwise. And then there's like a way of doing it. Like you do the bottom half first, upper half first, like counterclockwise, clockwise. It could be really fancy. And then you pour oil around this jar and then like decorate it with herbs and dry flower and all that. But I used to do formally, but it gets really dirty and messy. So this is like simplified my version of it, which is totally fine. Who says I can't do it, you know? It's okay. Now that it's ready, so place your wish card or your paper underneath your candle, and you could go ahead and light up your candle. Are you guys ready for meditation? So I'm gonna move on to meditation for like, I don't know, it might take like another 30 minutes. If you can. I personally prefer to just burn a candle. It's gonna take about 3 days to burn the whole thing, okay? And this is what I do it. So I place the paper underneath this, but I have like a little tray, a silver tray, and then the paper goes underneath the tray. So paper, silver tray, and then I put a little bit of water to be safe, and then have this, and then let it burn for like 3 days. But the next day of the full moon, I take the paper and then I actually burn the paper. But when you burn the paper, I want you to be extremely careful, like have the water ready, okay? Because you never know how the fire is going to burn, you know, the paper is going to burn. And if it's windy, the paper might fly away. So please, please, please be extremely careful. Do it in the yard or do it in a kitchen, or maybe you don't have to do it if you're not comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. Okay. But yes, you burned a paper, and then you're burning the paper because you're using the element of fire, the spirit of fire, to help with this healing process. So that's why I'm not using like a battery operated candle, but I'm using the real fire to have this healing process. So yes, and basically what I do is I just let it finish naturally for 3 days. It just takes about 3 days. But when it goes get closer to the bottom, I'm afraid that the candle might break from the heat. So I have like a little bit of water. So just in case, you never know what's going to happen. So that's what I do. But if you are not comfortable, or if you live in like a house with a lot of pets or dogs, cats, kids, or earthquake, if you're not comfortable, just turn off the fire. Just let it out. If you're not comfortable. But if you are okay with it, or if you do it a lot with your house, I would just let it burn all the way. So I don't blow out the candle, but if you are blowing out the candle, yes, you could say, well, I would just say a simple gratitude, like thank you, or I forgive, I want to heal, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, I don't really have I never really thought about it, but yeah, you could just, I just say thank you, just thanking the spirits. And I want to show you the cards that I pulled for you. Can you guys see? It's called a perfect setting. And perfect setting, I thought this card was very appropriate. It's like perfect, because perfect, like no matter how bad you feel like your current situation is, that is perfect. You know what I mean? Like you created that, like that was your best. That's the best that you were able to do at that moment. And you can't really complain because that's what you manifested. You created it. And no matter how bad the situation is, no matter how bad your life is right now, you can always change. You could always heal yourself. You could always improve on yourself. There's never like, oh, you're too old. There's never like age doesn't matter. And it's always the perfect timing, the perfect setting. So understand that everything happens for a reason, and everything is happening at the divine timing. Like, even if I tell you all this like 10 years ago, maybe you might wish that, oh, I should have known. Maybe I wish I could have learned this 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago, it wasn't a timing, right? 10 years ago, I wasn't ready. I was still doing my own thing. And I didn't even do shadow work 10 years ago. So I wasn't ready. But perfect setting, like right here, right now, is the perfect time to heal yourself. So don't be embarrassed about like all the past mistakes that you made, or don't compare yourself with other people, because just believe that it's happening because you needed to experience that, all the good and all the bad. It is just your ego who's making that judgment. And I was drinking a tea the other day, just traditional medicine tea. It's kind of like yogi tea, but it has a little quote. And I love this quote, so I'm going to share with you. It says, the difference between a flower and a weed is a judgment by unknown. So this unknown person is amazing. Like, yeah, basically, we're the one who's judging. Like, oh, like, I wish I was able to live like this person, or I wish I had a better husband who would support me, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're all making this judgment, but you have to understand that you got to be responsible for your life. That's how you're going to live your life. If you blame others, nothing's going to change. And the other card that I pulled for you is, can you see it? Taking risk. It's like maybe like a Grand Canyon or something like that, and an eagle flying. And it's a beautiful picture. It says taking risk. And I already talked about this like towards the beginning of this Zoom meeting, like the importance of taking risk. You got to come out of your comfort zone. You got to do something different. If you feel stuck, if you feel lost, if you feel like your life isn't changing, no, you're not changing because you're not taking any action. You're not taking the leap of faith. Okay, so it's extremely important to kind of like it's scary, but if you jump, like if you take the leap of faith, everything else will follow. Okay. And it doesn't always mean something that's sweet and convenient for you. Okay. Sometimes it means you're gonna learn a lesson. Something it's gonna be painful, but still you gotta learn from that lesson. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're all here to help people, help the humanity, and help people with their ascension, their spiritual journey. So it's scary. Yes, it's scary. It was so scary for me to just even talk to people, the fact that I do wing reading. Okay. Like nowadays, people accept it and be like, wow, that's so cool, that you're so amazing, you're so talented, blah, blah, blah. But like back then, no, like it was not okay. Not that it wasn't okay, but yeah, so taking risks, get out of your comfort zone, believe in yourself, and take action. And feel free to share with your friends or anyone who's interested in it, because I feel like this information could benefit a lot of people. And if any of your friend wants to join this Zoom meeting, feel free to invite them.